Hey, it's Jason with jamzDOTnet, Cars, DIY, and Adventures, and today is a car DIY project. I'm having so much fun with this 1991 Chevrolet G20 van. I even pulled it back out of the garage after I said I was going to have it parked because I have a little mod I want to do to it, a very quick mod. Let's go out and take a peek. It's so beautiful. I'm doing this outside. So this is the beloved 91 G20 van. Easy to drive. Very few blind spots because of all the windows. But with this little guy on the back, I get into some tight situations. Well, I would appreciate a backup camera. Traditional backup cameras are going to go on the license plate. The camera that I'm going to be installing would mount on the plate. However, it's totally wireless, and I'm going to mount it up on the top luggage rack so I get a really good view when I'm backing this thing in, and it comes with the little screen that plugs in. Totally wireless. It runs off a battery, and it has a little solar panel on top of the camera to charge the battery. I'm pretty stoked to install this. Let's take a peek at it and unpackage it. So I am pretty darn stoked about this camera. Let's go ahead and unpackage it. But first, what is it? This is the Autovox wireless backup camera. This is the Solar One Pro. It's a 480p battery powered camera with a 5-inch monitor. This is designed where you can basically hook this over the license plate. My application, it's going to actually go into the luggage rack at the top of the van. You can see that you have solar here. This is probably the entire battery. They say it gives you quite a bit of battery life. My challenge is going to be I'm installing this inside, so it's not going to be constantly recharging. But I got a little fix for that, which you can probably tell I'm using a wireless battery charger because this thing needs 6 hours of charging, and I don't have 6 hours, so I'm hoping I can get enough charging to do this video and let it charge. And when the van is parked in the building, I'll just keep this plugged in, right? And then when I'm ready to go, I'll go, and it will keep the video or the camera topped off the battery via the sun when I'm driving. When you're charging it, you'll see a little light in here. You probably can't make that out on the camera, but it's red. That means it is charging. So that is something you want to take into account. If you're putting a cover on the vehicle or it's not going to be exposed to sun, it's not going to recharge, frankly. And even on this G20 van, the way that bumper indentation is, it would have been challenged even if I didn't have this rig hooked up with this trailer carrier and all of that stuff. So just think about the application and how you're going to install it to maximize solar charging. The camera can move as well. It's pretty durable, and I think this is going to hold up fantastic given I keep the van inside unless we're going on a trip. And they claim the Solar 3A Plus, it's going to actually be crystal clear 1080p. I was wrong. The screen, I think, is a less than that. But the resolution is 1080p. It's going to give you high-quality images. And they claim this 5,000 mAh battery is going to give you 24 hours of continuous usage. And they say it's a 3-minute install. And frankly, I do believe that. My install is going to be a little bit longer. And it can be point-to-point up to 40 foot. So this can be 40 feet away from the camera, which I'll be obviously within that distance. This is a IP69K waterproof rating, so it should withstand all weather conditions. This looks pretty darn awesome. This is the screen that comes with it in the box. You get a adapter so you can mount the screen. So Autovox gives you everything you want. I was concerned the screen was going to be really big. I'm very happy it's not because I don't have a ton of space with all my other gizmos. But you get this guy here, and it's just going to plug right in. And they still give you available, and it has an on-off button, which is nice. They give you an available charging port there as well. So that's fantastic. You also get this tape in the box. So this would go effectively on the license plate, and then it would bolt down or, go like that. And then you would use the screw hardware to hook it in. And the instruction manual charge the camera. They recommend 6 hours. I'm going to hope that my setup here will give me the ability to use it, and I'll let it charge as I leave the building. And you can see how they're talking about putting it over it. So the camera is going to be on the right and it slides behind the plate, kind of like that. And then you screw it in, and then you can adjust the camera up or down as you need to. For my application, I'll probably adjust it down just a little bit. And then you snap this on the back of the mount that they provide you. So they give you this mount here with, it looks like this is to loosen up the camera here, little screws and Allen wrenches, but they give you this mount that basically you're gonna mount the camera on, and then you can hook that. Very light, so this is gonna be fantastic for my installation. So let's go ahead and talk about how I'm gonna mount it for my application. Now, for most applications, you would have your license plate hooked in, and away you go. And then you would basically just take this camera, it's not going to have this charging cable hooked to it, and it would look very much like that, which is a very sleek and clean and easy install, because you're just putting this behind the plate and using the screws that come with the plate to screw it back on and put it over. Now, don't be that person that does it like that, where you can see the mount. Make sure you go behind. The cam will be on the right. Now, again, for this application, I'm taking into account this carrier, and the location of the plate is really low. It would get no sun, especially with the indentation on the lip and the bumper. What I'm going to do is I want to put it up here. So I am at the top of the G20 van, and I have this carrier. I do not want to drill into this. I will probably put some bracket at some point. I considered maybe putting it behind the light like that, which could potentially be an option. But I think I might just put it exactly like this. Put the bracket behind it, and I can zip tie this down really, really good. And then I'll replace those ties with some permanent mounts at some point. So you can see this will just give me a fantastic field of vision. And then when I charge it, I'll just keep it like that, plugged up when I'm not using the van. And then when I'm using the van, it will get maximum outside, maximum sun to keep that battery charged. So let me go ahead and get this mounted real quick, and I'll show you what I do next. So I just removed this light to see if it would fit behind. And without cutting that plate or doing something, it wouldn't. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick to my game plan, which is hooking it up here, which I think would be just fine, frankly, for the application that I'm doing. And again, this is a unique application for a G20 high top conversion van. For you, you just hook this right on the plate. So you could probably fast forward this if you don't have a G20 van. If you do, watch it, and then get right in to see how this actually syncs up to the screen and what the quality looks like. Okay, so this is how it's looking on the G20 van. Absolutely secure as can be. And I'm pretty happy with how this looks, because when you get off the van and you're just looking at it, it centers really nicely with the third brake light. And when that black cable isn't charging it, it will be pretty well hidden. So the next thing is I'm going to hook this screen up. I am going to use that guy on the dash and this for the charger. And then I'm going to see if this camera will sync. Okay, I have this Autovox wireless solar-powered camera installed. I love this. I don't say this lightly. I don't say this because they're telling me to say this. I say this because I really do love this. Super easy to install, and it works perfectly. Let's take a peek. So again, this is the Autovox. That's the camera. You will not have that cable. I'm just charging it right now because I don't want to just depend on solar. But that big black thing in the front there, that's the battery, picks it up. You can hook it over a license plate like I demonstrated. Given this is a bigger vehicle, I'm taking advantage of the luggage rack to install it. Let me show you this bad boy, the quality. And you can see like the width of this van, like this is a big van. This isn't a little tiny van. So even if you put this thing on a trailer you're towing, it's gonna be fantastic. So that's the little screen right here. This is the charger. One thing to note though with this, it is not going to cut on right when you throw it in reverse. It's not hooked to reverse lights, but frankly, I could care less about that. I actually don't need it to turn on all the time. So let's just start driving. Yada, yada, yada. I'm driving. Oh, look, I'm going to go in reverse. It's not going to cut on, but bam, bam, and it's going to sync with the camera. And right away, I got one killer backup camera. I mean, I can see everything behind me. So when you drive in a big van like this, it's a level of comfort. Sometimes I'm at these car shows and swaps and I'm backing in. Man, I really like to know there's nothing behind me. This is phenomenal, and it stays on for a good bit and then it cuts off, and I imagine a bit of that is to conserve the battery. But you can just see here, this quality is no joke. All wireless. The only wire is plugging it in. So you're going to want to think about where you put your little screen. I just mounted it right here. I ran the cable along the windshield. I already had a mess of cables right here. I'm putting a lot of tech in a 30-plus-year-old van. So I just ran the cable up. It comes down and it plugs into my main charging station. It also has a little battery indicator. It looks like I have 3 bars, so that's good. I suspect it's probably showing it's fully charged because it is plugged into a battery, but like, you're gonna know right away. So when I disconnect that, I'll be able to see how much charge I have and if it's getting enough sun when I'm driving, which it certainly will. Absolute thumbs up. You can do this install in like 5 minutes, and then you can see it's very clean. It cuts off after a while, so you're not killing your battery. It loses that sync, and then all you do is you press it, bada bing, and you get your camera right back. Long van, made even longer with this setup. I'm cooking with fire up here. Absolute thumbs up. I love it. So this is Jason with jamzDOTnet, cars, DIY, and adventures. If you want to learn more about the G20 van, subscribe to our channel. There's links in the description as well to some of our playlists. But more importantly, if you want to buy this camera, link in the description, click it. Super easy to install. Don't miss out. No wiring into the brake lights, no crazy electrical wiring. It literally will take you 5 minutes to install this camera. Stay tuned. I'll let you know how it goes. That's all for now. Have a great day.